Today we are going to focus on the biblical pattern of the younger sibling being chosen over the older sibling. This would have been against the cultural norm, as the highest value was usually placed on the firstborn male. Yet, all throughout the Bible we see God bless and choose the younger over the older. This pattern begins with the sons of Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel. Cain is the older brother and Abel is the younger. They both make sacrifices to God, but God looks with favor on Abel's offering and not Cain's. Out of anger, Cain then murders his brother Abel. The next sibling rivalry we see is Ishmael and Isaac. Ishmael is the older son of Abraham and the Egyptian slave girl Hagar. Isaac is the younger but promised son of Abraham and Sarah, whom Sarah gives birth to in her old age. Eventually, Sarah becomes angry at Ishmael and does not want him to share in the inheritance with her son Isaac. So Sarah has Ishmael and his mother Hagar driven out away from their family. Again, it is the younger brother Isaac who is the chosen child whom Abraham will build his lineage through. The pattern repeats in Genesis 25 with Isaac's and Rachel's children. Rachel is pregnant with twins, Jacob and Esau, and it seemed a challenging pregnancy as the children, quote, struggled inside her. The Lord makes it clear, 2 nations are in your womb. 2 people will come from you and be separated. 1 people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. This plays out clearly in the next story as Esau makes a decision for immediate gratification, selling his birthright to his brother in exchange for some soup. Later on, Jacob, following the advice of his mother, steals the birthright of his older brother Esau. Esau, in anger, plots to kill his younger brother Jacob. But unlike Cain and Abel, the two eventually reconcile in Genesis 33. This pattern continues with the younger brother Joseph and Benjamin exalted over the other older brothers. Even Rachel and Leah could be examples earlier in Genesis, as Rachel was loved over Leah by their husband Jacob. This pattern also exists outside of Genesis, as Gideon was chosen by God, and he was a part of the weakest of the tribes of Israel, and once again he was the youngest in his family. King David is another example, as he was the youngest of all his brothers, and he is the one the Lord chooses to be king. Now, this may not seem fair to the older sibling, but several examples show us that God does not simply abandon the older siblings. God, for example, protects Cain with a mark. God rescues Ishmael and blesses him with numerous descendants. God opens up the womb of Leah when she was barren. But what does this pattern of the younger chosen over the older teach us about God? It is often God's choice to choose the youngest, smallest, and weakest to use for his purposes, so that when God accomplishes amazing things through them, nobody can get the glory besides God. Paul puts it this way in 1 Corinthians 1:26-31. Brothers and sisters, think of what you were when you were called. Not many of you were wise by human standards. Not many were influential. Not many were of noble birth. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. God chose the lowly things of this world and the despised things and the things that are not, to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him. It is because of him that you are in Christ Jesus, who has become for us wisdom from God. That is our righteousness, holiness, and redemption. Therefore, as it is written, let the one who boasts boast in the Lord. See, if God mainly used the strong and the powerful, then people would simply worship strength and power. But God uses the weak in order to bring himself glory. Only God can accomplish incredible things through weaker vessels. It is like what God says to Paul in 2 Corinthians 12:9, "My power is made perfect in weakness."